You're going to retire me? You're going to retire CM Punk? Well, now I'm going to bury you at WrestleMania. And then you won't be alone anymore. And you know why? Because I'm going to bury you next to your father. Ooh, Barracuda! Road to WrestleMania. We just got a few more stops right to Vegas. I'm John Renton with my review WWE Raw from the Gamebridge Fieldhouse in Indiana. Once me, Indianapolis, Indiana. Yeah, I bet you're surprised I decided to review this. So am I. I figured, why the hell not? Now, as far as any future editions of Raw, there are 2 straight mystery movies coming up on the 9th and the 16th. So if I review those Raws, they will be up way later than usual. And I'm also going to review this week's SmackDown. You know why? It's in Portland. I haven't reviewed a SmackDown since the AJ Lee return episode. And a couple things have me intrigued, so I'll at least review some of the show, just like I'm going to review some of this show. No, I did not review Chamber. You know what? I'm not paying $30. However, I will watch WrestleMania, because I figure it will probably be the last WrestleMania that I will review for this channel, because I'm not going to bother reviewing next year's WrestleMania. I'm winding shit down, guys. But why not just get into it right now? So, they had around 9,500 people in an 18,000-seat arena. The crowd brought some energy. More than the crowd in Atlanta last week. And I'm not going to mention anything about the Rhea and Jade stuff beyond. I think it's a work shoot. Other people were piling on. So, I'll address that stuff on SmackDown. The only thing I will say, I'm fairly certain it's a work shoot. If there is actually any truth or legitimacy to it and Jade has pissed people off, maybe don't do that. Nevertheless, the Danhausen WWE debut did not go over all that well. They probably should have tempered their expectations for what would come out of the box. And Orton won the Chamber, and then Drew cost Cody, and all this basically made it Drew and Cody on Friday, and this is what I think is going to happen. And these are pseudo predictions, I guess, because then I'll be reviewing the show. I think that Cody's going to win. I think Drew's going to face Jacob Fatu, or Aldis possibly. It's going to be Cody and Orton. They've been adding little teases and nuggets for that. Former Legacy guys. It makes sense. I feel bad for Drew. They could make it a 4-way. It would take some of the load off of Orton, and with his back problems, it probably wouldn't hurt to take the load off of him. But nevertheless, if you want to take a load off of Viper, you just must make sure that it sprays its venom way too quickly and then goes to sleep for a while. You're welcome. Have fun on seeing that. So, basically, we are also at war with Iran currently. Some kind of conflict, because of the stupid criminal piece of shit and the minions that are in the White House. So, yeah, so let's just have a little bit of fun as things in the world burn, because some people decided to vote for a motherfucking idiot to get back in the White House. Also abolish ICE, fuck Trump, fuck you too if you like it. So, there we go. Heyman with Theory and Logan. I'm over this. One, Bronson Reed is out with a torn bicep. Steiner might be able to come back. I don't know. They're going to go after Seth's ass. Just his ass, evidently. I don't care when Theory talks. I'm over the stuff with Logan. Logan's a scam artist. Whether he is talented in the ring or not and makes it easy to hate him, he's a fucking douchebag. And I don't even mean the good kind of douchebag you can root for. I legitimately would not care if he just stopped drawing a breath right now. So, Pierce comes out with a bunch of security. Who attacked Jey Uso? It was not us. And then, apparently, somebody decided to channel Miami Connection because we are against the Ninja currently. A bunch of Seth Rollins' school students, wrestling school students, that is. Seth Rollins is not a teacher in his off time, at least at a legitimate high school or whatever, as hilarious as that would be. We have ninjas running around, and then Seth shows up with a chair and hits Heyman, and then curb stomps him. Oh, he hit him like he hit Roman, because we can't get away from the Shield lore that wasn't that good after, about the 15th or 16th time they revisited it. So, nevertheless, there we go. Heyman took a couple bumps. I'm amazed he felt that chair, considering he's the size of a Macy's Day float. And that stomp should have been laid in extra for all the people he screwed over in ECW. So, recaps of what we just saw. Heyman's going to the hospital. He's bleeding. LA Knight is driving the ambulance. I don't think he's a licensed ambulance worker, but whatever. And Jimmy Uso attacked Theory. I didn't know it was Jimmy till the audience... Well, never mind. The announcer said something, but I try to tune out Michael Cole because he's really bad. What wasn't really bad was the first match. In fact, I would argue this was pretty much the highlight of the show. Gunther against Dragon Lee. I didn't think it would be the highlight. Jump start by Dragon Lee. Gunther took over. Dragon Lee took a big backdrop into the timekeeper's area. I thought he died. Fortunately, he's okay. And Dragon Lee hit and ran. Dragon Lee is not bad in the ring. Actually, he's quite good in the ring. It's just this is the most high-profile thing he has done since showing up in WWE. Gunther does hit a powerbomb, hits one on the apron, hits one on the announcer's table. And then suddenly, even though Gunther cut a little bit of time, Dragon Lee somehow had the energy miraculously to hit a Sunset Flip Code Red variation outside. Dragon Lee did a dive, did the DDT finish, near countout, and then a lariat, and it looked like he might be going for the DDT again, but no, a sleeper. And Gunther had been working on the mask, ripped off the mask, and Dragon Lee was like, no, I can't be seen. No, my beautiful face painted up. No, he tapped out. He tapped his own head. Then he spit fire and went to sleep. A lot of tapping the head and going to sleep on this program. So, there we are. And then Kairi gets yelled at by Asuka. And then AJ Lee asks if she's okay. I gotta be perfectly honest, I haven't really cared much for this Asuka, Kairi stuff, but whatever. Demolition are going to the WWE Hall of Fame, long overdue. So, here comes the ass, here comes the snatcher. I think that's the name of them, but there we are. So, AJ Lee does a promo that is okay at best. And I like AJ. And I'm glad that AJ Lee is able to come back and work with some people she never thought she'd have a chance to work for, or work with, that is. She wants to get her hands on a lot of women. Would watch. And there we go. Open challenges, basically. Somebody can knock at her door and break right on in. Probably misinterpreted this promo, but nevertheless. This El Grande Americano stuff is stupid. What was also stupid was a line in the Liv Morgan pre-tape. Liv just talking about Stephanie and everything. And you know what, Kier? I'm going to let you off the hook here because, yeah, there are more important fish to fry here. Such as and I'm not blaming Liv here, but whoever wrote this, yeah, they're really letting their goddamn MAGA, shit go in. Mud Hut Wrestling in flea-infested rings for 10 years. What? I mean, I don't know much about Chile, but I do know they have a space program. They have, a few things there that I imagine are technologically sound or advanced or whatever. I'm not saying all the areas are, but look at some of the areas. Look at some of the areas here in my state. There are some places that are back in the 1950s, the fucking hillbillies. But yeah, I wouldn't have had Liv say that. And I'm not blaming Liv here. This is not an attack on Liv at all. But Liv killed it with this promo, but dear God, that was not fun. That was not good. Ill-advised. Very ill-advised. Was also ill-advised as El Grande Americano. Stop. Just stop. I don't care if the AAA fans like it. Or the WWE AAA fans. Gable re-signed for this. He won. Gable's really good, but I'm never going to care about him in this kind of shit. Kaiser, just, whatever. Put him in a mask, I guess. I had the fact that him and Tiffany broke up, and they got, I guess she's with some other guy. I don't know who the hell he is. Anyway, whatever. It's fine. The Grande Americano stuff isn't a Penta pre-tape. He will beat Dominic. Really didn't necessarily think he would. I don't care about the Judgment Day stuff. Look, I saw some clips of Raquel doing fine in the chamber. That's all she's ever going to do is fine. She's not that good. And Stephanie McMahon was interviewing Royce Keys, who apparently after showing up in the Rumble, this is all he's going to do for the next 8 weeks, is just have interview clips. If you don't have a plan for somebody, why are they there? So, basically, last week on SmackDown, Oba squashed Miz. To be honest, that's all Miz should be doing, is jobbing out. Rusev Machka wants to fight Oba, gets on the announcer's table. Oba shows up to a pop, and they had a brief skirmish. Oba tosses him. There was a flurry of offense with a few kicks from Rusev, and it was what it was. That match is going to happen next week. By the way, next week's show is in Seattle. I don't care if I could get a ticket. I am not paying the premium prices to go to a WWE show. I'm not fucking doing it. Also, I wouldn't be going with anybody. And I also have a horror movie to go watch, and that sounds a lot better than driving to fucking Seattle and then parking and then driving back. I could be home in my bed. I could be home, like, sitting in my chair like I am now, just turn around and watch Raw and be probably... I would probably have it almost halfway done by the time I would be getting home from Seattle, because it's the pits. Bayley and Lyra, they feel stuck. Lyra tells Bayley to go challenge AJ Lee. Bayley says, I cost you a shot. Let's all go there. Except Lyra can't challenge while Becky's champion. Anyway. Io, by God's sky. Good grief with respect. My word. My word. Jimmy Uso makes his entrance. Theory is boring. I don't care how sound he is in the ring. He's boring. The match didn't last long. Logan caused a DQ. Jay showed up with crutches. And that basically happened. Danhausen then cursed Judgment Day. After giving a list of demands, Danhausen is... I don't get it. I'm sorry. I don't get it. I have never gotten it. I will never get it. If you guys do, great. I'm not going to knock you guys if you like it. I don't hate it. I don't have anything against the guy. To me, this is not wrestling. But whatever. He also wasn't like featured on AEW programming much. And even though he'd had a couple of injuries, or at least one major injury, he was kept a lot longer than he probably needed to be. Khan just wasting money. And WWE wastes money, holding on to people too. So it's something that both companies need to stop. Anyway, Judgment Day confronts him, and Dominic got cursed. Jackie's on the stage, interview Rhea and Io. I thought we were going to get a Portrait of a Lady on Fire situation here for a second, possibly involving all three. Rhea basically thanks Io. I'll do it for you. I would watch. Anyway, Rhea says she will see Jade face to face on Friday. That's a big reason why I'm going to watch that, because I do want to see how Jade holds herself, because I know that Jade was off for a bit, whatever the injury was, or whatever the reason was that she was off for a while, the car accident thing, and her returning and attacking Naomi was cool. That was cool, but Jade has not had a lot of really big moments in WWE that have stuck out for the right reason. And we're 2 years into this experiment. I think Jade's just what she's going to be. I think Rhea's going to beat her. And to be quite honest, I think that's probably the route to go, because Jade beating Tiffany should have probably happened sooner than it did. And when it didn't happen to SummerSlam, yeah, kind of cooled off on that. Penta entrance, he took on Dominic in a match for the IC title. It was fine. Finn and JD were there. Finn's kind of been doing the pseudo going over this way to do the face turn thing. And I thought Dominic hit his head at one point. He seemed to be okay. And there was like a pseudo Michinoku driver variation. 1-2 kick out. 619. A splash, but that got countered as Penta went for the arm snap. And then hit the Penta driver, but just a 2 count. Okay, that was a cool moment. I'm like, oh, okay, Dominic's going to win. Here we go. Penta kept stopping him in the corner and almost got DQ'd. But then Penta hit the post and was like, my shoulder, my leg. No wire hangers. I don't think that's right. And he tells McDonough to get him a hammer. And he does. And then Finn says no, he wanted to do it on his own. So then Penta dives on both and then hits the Destroyer to win it. And new champion, Pyro, Okay, bit surprised there, but not complaining. This was around the same time that Io beat Rhea and held the championship for a little bit into well, actually held a little bit longer in a great three-way match with Rhea and Bianca at WrestleMania. So that was what it was. And then Roman made his entrance. Punk interrupted him. I'm not going to go back and forth on every single thing that they said, but Punk did mock Roman's lack of caring. To be fair, we killed Brock for all the times that he would just show up, collect a paycheck, and then disappear for months, and that's all Roman's been doing. If it's good enough to mock Brock for, you can mock Roman for it. I don't blame Roman for taking the money, same way I don't blame Brock for taking the money. But he basically says, I gotta carry your shit into WrestleMania, Punk says. I didn't pick you, but you did pick me, the Shield stuff, because we can't get away from the Shield stuff. I'm sorry, it's getting to the point where I'm about to say that the Shield is vastly overrated. Not because they didn't mean something when they first happened, but they are so overblown. They debuted at, Survivor Series 2012, and to be quite honest, by the time we got to about the summer of 2013, the wheels are starting to come off. And so it's a good, even though that Evolution feud, and even though some stuff they did in the fall, turning face, stuff with the Wyatts, there were good moments in there, but there were things that were starting to really cause things to come apart. And then Roman said, we brought you back to be champion, to please the 30 to 40-year-old virgins that live with their parents. Says the guy that survived leukemia and has the means to pay for it, but voted for the criminal piece of shit that is trying to take away medical, by the way. So I really don't have a lot of sympathy for Roman, trying to be all high and mighty and everything when he votes for a piece of shit. But, we brought you back not to be champion. That's above your pay grade. And you're not CM Punk, you're just a punk-ass bitch to me. Punk fires back, basically. You have no cousins, you have no Shield. I took your wise man. Bury you at Mania. Stuff about the dad. And there you go. So I can't promise that I'm going to review Raw after this, at least for the next couple weeks. Because it depends. If big things happen and you guys want me to review them and the views are there, maybe I'll do it. But if not, my guarantee is I will review WrestleMania. I will ask for maybe leave an hour early or whatever. WrestleMania Saturday. I will find a way to review WrestleMania night 1 and 2 for you guys. Maybe even the Raw after Mania. After that, guys, if you're lucky, you might see me for SummerSlam. You might not see me for any more premium live events. So there we go. Possibly reaching the end of the road. End of the road possibly with AEW too. It just depends on how I feel after the Dynamite I go to on the 15th. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Ritland, and until we revisit Monday Night Raw on Netflix, until the Outlaws probably is enforced, and I think it's going to happen, 2029, here we go, or 2030, 2030, 2030. Happy trails to you.